Retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision. His family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensate for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH, this is Sports Daily.
Aloha, Mr. Howard.
Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome in to Sports Daily. Jacob Albrock, TJ Cleveland with you here on a Wednesday, a Hawaiian shirt Wednesday, as we enter the winter season. Sometimes the creativity needs to come, but we're fighting back against the cold weather. It's a nice day today. See, it's working. We've got a fun show coming up for you today. Shreyas Laddha will join to talk KU. KU hoops, of course, the Darren Peterson story, a big topic of conversation. We'll get into some of the rumors yesterday, along with KU football that I think fans might be pleased to hear. We'll have that for you a little bit later on. We will talk about the continued discussion around the CFP. Brett Yormark weighing in, seemingly everybody weighing in right now. So where do we go from here? We have all that for you today. We'll discuss everything else going on in the sports world that we see. All the headlines here. We've got Max Power producing. He's got you covered at 869-1240. If you want to call in the show, you can leave us your comments on Facebook, YouTube, X. And, of course, thanks for watching us on 12 News Connected and listening to us on the Odyssey app. Everything we've got for you today coming up, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company. It's What's on Tap. Now pouring the brand new seasonal Bach Lager. Bach, yeah, a cold beer that'll give you a warm feeling. Bach Lager available at all three WBC brew pubs, east near Central and Woodlawn, west at 13th and Tyler, and in historic Delano at Handley. Wichita Brewing Company, where groups gather for the holiday season. TJ, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. You want to know one of the worst feelings in the world whenever you wake up? Whenever you ever get a cup of coffee and you just start walking holding your cup of coffee and then, you just spill half of that cup of coffee. And
Carpet?
Yeah, there's a little bit of carpet, but it's dark enough carpet. If you're my wife listening to the show on the rewatch, no, you're not. I cleaned it up. So it just sucks. It's just real. For some reason, you just can't hold it straight while you walk. I don't understand what the science is behind that.
Yeah, that's well, the sloshing, my cup that I have, you can see that lid.
Yeah.
Because I have to go downstairs. I don't know if you're in a basement dungeon like I am, but the stairs are always the tricky part.
It is hard.
So yeah, I'm with you. Spilling anything, spilled milk, that don't cry over spilled milk. Have a kid and then say that term, because it happens a lot and it smells and it gets into everything. It's always just everything's covered in milk. But we're rocking and rolling here on a Wednesday. It's an interesting time. There's a lot of things happening, sort of headlines. The Royals, TJ, I don't know if a lot of people saw this, get the benefit of the draft lottery for probably the first time since it's been implemented in a pretty big way. Like they jumped, what were they projected? 13th, I think.
Base kind of, yes.
And got up to 6.
Yeah.
So listen, that's pretty significant. Now you get up into the top 10. Well, you'd probably feel good if you were projected where they were, but a season in which they were just so close to get the 6th pick. Hopefully they can do something with that. So that happened yesterday. There's kind of a lot of little baseball headlines that are just getting swallowed up, but Edwin Diaz goes to the Dodgers. That's the first big one. That's not just a re-sign that we've had so far at the winter meetings. But it is that time of year too. Winter meetings have been very active the last few years. I don't Is that when they traded last year for Jonathan India? Was it the winter meetings? I think it might have been.
Maybe, I don't remember.
But I don't know if that's. I mean, they do need to make a trade, and a trade is likely. So we'll kind of just hang tight on the Royals. They've got to make one move of significance, I think, this offseason. And this could be the time it gets done.
Yeah, it's interesting of where they go from here. I know that we've talked to Jalen Thompson about that a lot. Of is it a trade or is it a signing? But you think about the free agent market. There's not really the outfield bat that they want they'd be able to afford.
Yeah, there's not one that
have
makes
to be
a lot of sense, and they have so much depth at other positions to go strength for strength. They can put together something very attractive for a team when you can trade a high-end catching prospect and a proven starting pitcher at some level, right? They have so many of them. You're going to be able to get what you need. I know the Rangers kind of got rid of Adolis Garcia. He'd be a name that I don't know what his status is. I don't know if he's landed anywhere. It's interesting this time of year how much baseball kind of gets buried. Like you don't hear a lot. In the summertime, you see a move like the Edwin Diaz. Like I had to go find it. I backed into the Edwin Diaz deal yesterday afternoon. So that was interesting. I'm looking at something right now. I don't know what this site is, but it's talking about an Adolis Garcia fit in Kansas City. I mean, that probably solves a lot of things. Is that enough? A guy who took a step back last year, but has been very good in the past. Maybe.
It's just so hard. That's the reason it gets buried. Is it's just so hard to follow baseball off seasons because it feels like there's just no rules at all compared to the other sports. Like you can make the speculations and everything like that, and it's like, well, how much money do they have? Like what is
right? I get what you're saying. Yeah, there's no limit on anything like that, and the Dodgers basically have an endless pit of money. So we'll see what they do. They're going to do something. I mean, they will. I don't think it's going to be free agency, though. That doesn't make a ton of sense for them. They've spent a ton of money in free agency the last 2 off seasons. They don't need to do that necessarily again. They can go and just bide their time and go find a trade partner. But this is, the winter meetings are all together. This is the time that kind of thing happens. So we'll keep our ear to it. But good news for the draft lottery for the Royals. The White Sox, by the way, for those keeping track at home, get the number 1 overall pick for the first time in like a generation. So we have that. We'll get to the Brett Yormark stuff probably on the other side. Just for folks on the KU rumor mill, and we'll talk about this later in the hour too, just because the Twitter rumor mill has been kind of on lately.
I don't know. I don't know if this is the rumor mill. I think it's more so just hopefulness. It's not quite what
I've heard. You sent me this last night. Somebody else did too. Andy Kotelnicki is a possibility with James Franklin out at Penn State. And, people I think are speculating it. People are hoping for it. It does make a ton of sense if we're being honest. And what a time it would be if we had both of the offensive coordinators from that pretty cool year, and Colin Klein and Andy Kotelnicki coming back home in the same year. That would be pretty fun.
Yeah, it would. I think it's more so the fact of nobody knew that this was an option because everybody kind of wondered if he was going to stay at Penn State, and now it sounds like that we know Campbell's bringing in his own guy, so he's not staying at Penn State. So it's a matter of well, where is he going to go? And it's like,
surprised. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised he hadn't gotten a head job yet.
Yeah, that was the other thing too, is that if he basically the 2 options that everybody thinks is going to happen is he's either going to come back to KU or he's going to throw his name in a hat somewhere. But he kind of missed a shot this time around.
Right. It's been and look, he would be just as qualified if he came back to KU, turned them around, had a great year. It's fine. He'd still be a candidate for a lot of jobs. That doesn't change. So it'd be cool, but we'll keep our eye. We'll keep our eye on it. We'll ask Shreyas Laddha about it as we make our way through just kind of a shotgun of headliney type stuff today with no college basketball this week. I think we've laid out fully to understand what the Chiefs are going through right now. Like they basically
they didn't get all the scrutiny they deserved last week heading into that to make it feel like a big game. So we'll do that this time, I guess.
We'll do that, and we'll again try to lay out for you what has to happen around them. But yeah, we have a lot of different things to get to today. Your comments, your commentary. Thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee. TJ needs a little more. Don't cry over spilled coffee. We'll be back on Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
310-1 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
busy. This is Sports Daily on KFH.
Sports Talk on KFH, presented by Paramount Plus. Count on Sundays all season long with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. You'll catch Chiefs Chargers there on 12 News, Paramount Plus, all the places right here on our Odyssey family of networks over on the home of the Chiefs, KNSS. Chiefs Chargers, we'll get to it. I want to talk about college football play. We kind of ran out of time on this, TJ. We might need a month to get through it. I don't know if you saw yesterday Brett Yormark chiming in. Gotta say, Yormark just is always level, right? There is this trend, and this happens every year when teams get slided in the CFP, which has happened since the beginning of time. It's almost like these administrators feel an obligation and coaches to go everywhere they can and whine about it, like it's going to do any good, which is what Notre Dame's been doing. Brett Yormark yesterday, I believe all this was on the Dan Patrick show, didn't take the opportunity so much to complain that BYU didn't get in, and they had just as much a case as anybody. He took a little time to kind of call out Notre Dame's AD for whining about all this and taking shots at, the ACC, who Yormark says bailed them out of a tough spot in the COVID season and all these things. And he kind of called out the silliness of doing it and said the committee did a pretty good job. And the gripe for Notre Dame is Miami got in. Notre Dame has a pretty good resume, but Miami beat them head to head. So that's what happens when you don't play anybody. Now, Notre Dame played 2 good games at the beginning of the year. They didn't win either of them. And then they absolutely housed everybody else they played, basically, including a Big Ten team in USC, including an SEC team on the road at Arkansas, including a pretty good Pittsburgh team. And none of these games were particularly close. I think Notre Dame is the team that should have been in. And I say that as a kid, I was a huge Notre Dame fan. Still am a little bit, but not to the same level. They fit the profile to me of that team that could be perhaps the best team in the country that had a stumble out of the gates. But at the end of the day, it was close, and Miami beat you head to head. It wasn't egregious on that end. It was maybe egregious with Alabama, but it wasn't egregious with the ACC. It wasn't egregious with Miami. They beat you.
I agree. I liked the photo that some writer tweeted of the matchup of A&M versus Miami in the first round. It said, man, I just have a feeling that Notre Dame could fare pretty well against both of these teams. Oh, they lost to both of them in the regular season. Like, at some point, the games have to matter, and that's the argument that'll always go down in history. And I'm always going to be on that.
Combined 4 points, though, right?
I don't care. You lost the game. Like,
I agree.
That's what it comes down to, and that's like, and as much as that sucks, and it's going to turn football into a cupcake fest because you're not going to want to schedule those games in case you lose them. That's the argument to that. And
there is no question, if Notre Dame had played the Little Sisters of the Poor in the first 2 weeks and won those games too, they'd be in. And they'd probably have a bye. So you're probably right. That's why I think the whole system has to be careful, because I don't think you want to lose those games. I think those games help get the season going, right? And before, you kind of needed them to try to get into a 4 team. You're not going to need those if you're Notre Dame trying to get into a 16 team. They had a case. BYU had a case. Alabama had a case. Miami had a case. That's, if we go back and we look at the CFP rankings, like I none of this ever bothers me unless I sit here, and this is not like, there's no like formula for this, but it's just as a fan of, college football, I do want to make sure we have the best team. If we go further down the list this year to 16 teams, right, and where this thing ended, we're not talking about teams that are going to win a national championship, right? BYU, Texas would maybe be in the mix. Vanderbilt, Utah, USC, Arizona, Michigan, those teams we're talking about, like none of those teams, nobody's going to sit there and be like, yeah, no, they're not. But Notre Dame does fit that profile. Like Notre Dame fits the profile of a team that started slow and might very well be the best team in the country right now. They're not in for that reason. But
the thing that will always go down in the history of time for committees of anything, you could talk about College World Series committee, the people that make the field of the regionals. You talk about the March Madness, the bubble
Anytime
team.
there's at-larges involved.
Exactly. And even yesterday, I thought about this after we got off the air yesterday. You talked about the argument of making it to where each conference has a certain number of tie-ins, then you get 4 at-larges to fill the rest of it. Guess what? The 5th at-large team is still playing.
They are, but that would at that point only apply to Notre Dame, though. Everybody else, you're like, guys, you had 3 spots to get in.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
But anyways, back to my point here. It will always, in any argument where there is at-larges, there will always be the people who are saying, we'll put Notre Dame against Miami on a neutral field. What would the spread of that game be? And that's what the Alabama argument was always going to be. Put them against anybody. In Georgia a couple of years ago, that's what Kirby Smart kept saying. Put us against anybody in the country. See what that spread is going to be. I don't care. At some point, the resumes matter. Like, I don't care if you're playing lights on fire at the end of the year. If you didn't do the stuff that gets you into the playoff earlier in the year, that has to matter. And the thing that kills fans and everything is the fact of, like, the NFL, nobody talks like that because there's rules to get into the playoffs. Like, it only is a thing because it's subjective and people have to make decisions on that. Like, people will say, and we say, well, the Chiefs would be favored against anybody in the playoffs if they got in right now because they're the Chiefs. That doesn't matter a lick. It doesn't matter at all. Like, it has to make it not matter because at some point the regular season has to matter for these teams.
It's a tool we use to talk about how disappointing this season has been for them. That's what we use it for, right? Like, it's wild that this team is not going to be in there. The problem is there's too many teams and they can't play each other. So, like, in the NFL, there's enough crossover that you can go into division and you can go into conference and you can go into those things. So we don't get that luxury in college football. So it's never going to be directly comparable, but the systems we've always, and listen, 12 teams is a universe better than 4 teams was, which was a universe better than 2 teams. So we're getting there. Ultimately, the way that you do this, that's really the way it should be done, is you do make it. And people can roll their eyes, and I don't mean this literally, but like, if you really wanted to get to a point where you could make it more mathematical, you do what the other college football divisions do, and you do like a 32-team tournament, right? You'd auto bid whatever amount of teams you need to get into that. You have a conference playoff. It's funny. In college basketball, we have a conference tournament. Wichita State, in a bad year in the American, could go in, have this tremendous resume, lose in the conference tournament, and not get in. Right? We have it everywhere. So, but we have systems in place to try to avoid that. We don't really have systems in place to try to avoid anything in college football. So what is
the games have to matter? There's only 12 of them. They have to matter.
They do have to matter. 100%, which is why Alabama with 3 losses and not 2, to me, should not be in. They're not even good losses. At least Notre Dame can say we had good losses.
Notre Dame,
lost to a bad Florida State team.
I want to go back to the Notre Dame thing. In the world where we're going to have a 16-team playoff, because it's coming,
it is.
They need to be forced to join a conference. Like,
they play they play the ACC. I mean, that's their schedule. They played the ACC plus Texas A&M this year and plus USC. That was their schedule. Like, they're in they basically play the ACC now.
Then they need to just join the ACC. Like,
they're in other sports. What difference would that make?
So they can have an opportunity to win conference championships in the ACC and take out the stupid part of, we're getting screwed because we didn't get to play a 13th game. You made your bed that you didn't want to be in the ACC.
Yeah, that's their own fault.
Now the tie-in we talked about yesterday of them saying if they're in the top 12 that they automatically get a bid in. Somebody brought up the argument. It's like, oh, cool. Does UConn get the same thing because they're an independent, or is this just a Notre Dame thing?
Well, it'd be just a Notre Dame thing, which is the idiocy of what we do in college football is we just wing it all the time. We don't have to do that. If you want to really solve this, I'm not even exaggerating. You put a 32-team tournament out there. You start it right now, this weekend, right? Just like you do in Division II, FCS, all of them. They all do this. You do it at 32. You say each conference gets 5 teams in, whatever, 6 teams in. There's some at-larges outside of that, or you go by region. I don't want that. I'm just saying, like, if you really wanted to solve it, I don't want that. Don't misunderstand. I don't want that at all. 16 teams is fine. I just think this all goes back into, and I think Brett Yormark was spot on with what he said. I really do think the better way is conference auto, a number of bids, because then what you have is the conferences making their teams play their way in. You make them play their way in. That's when you can set up in the Big 12. This is the criteria at the end of the year to determine who goes to the 16-team playoff.
The thing is that of the argument there, Division II does 32 teams, and I saw, I don't know who it was, Emporia State saying we got hosed. We were the 33rd team.
Well, you do, but again, you can set it up in a way if you expand it out, you just set it up a way like I'm talking about now at a larger scale. At the end of the conference season, we're going to have a 6-team playoff or whatever. We're going to have 3 extra games, and the winners of those games advance.
But
you
then
can
it
do
just
this
brings
with
into
16.
It brings into the argument now, if you do that, like we keep talking about, what if Ohio State comes out and loses the first 4 games of the year, sneaks into the playoff, and then goes to wins the national championship? Like it just
did they go through their conference to do it?
What do you mean? Yes.
Like
they're the fifth Big Ten team. They sneak in.
Don't make this like, I'm not advocating for 32 teams.
I know.
But
I'm saying
in that scenario that you're talking about, do we have a problem when that happens in college basketball?
It's just it doesn't. But if that happens, that's typically
they've earned it though. They've earned it on the field. They've played their way through a tournament and gotten there. I mean, we're not complaining that whoever the automatic FCS team might have 3 losses and not even be in the top 25 of the CFP. Would we be complaining if they went on a run no, we'd love it. We'd think that was the best thing ever. Are we going to be mad if the last wild card team of the NFL makes a run into the Super Bowl? No, we'll think it's awesome. Like, I think we overthink this with college football and pretend like it's something we don't have everywhere else when we have it. Cinderellas are great, but we don't have enough spots to get Cinderellas in, which is why we're at 12 now, and we should be. 12's better. This is a conversation about the 12th team. I understand that. But I still think there's a little bit of room to make it easier and less of a room full of people. I'm like, where can we get to? And I get it. The SEC and the Big Ten are going to want more. I think the SEC can have the argument. I'm not buying the Big Ten deserves more, but whatever. So what is it then? Is it the Big 12 gets 3 and the ACC gets 3 and the other 2 get 4?
The thing about that is that
2 at-larges still.
The biggest argument to that, and the one that you've even been talking about for a couple of weeks, is if you did that this year, like you'd get Duke, Virginia, Miami, and who? I don't even know who the 4th one would be if we did
in the ACC.
Yeah.
So if you did 3, you'd have and they would have to play this through a playoff. But if we just went based on rankings, it'd be Miami, Notre Dame, and you'd have to just make them a member of the ACC. I get it, but you'd have Miami, Notre Dame, and Virginia. You'd have 10, 11, and
but not the team 19. That won the conference championship.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Where I've got to take that out of the equation. If you had auto bids and a conference championship, you'd have whoever you have, whoever it is. They've earned their way in, and then you'd have plus Miami and Notre Dame. So Duke, Miami, and Notre Dame. And obviously, Duke wouldn't be the conference champion if you played it out this way, because Duke's not winning a conference championship through a tournament where they have to play either Miami or Notre Dame. That's not going to happen. So, I mean, based on this year, it's not going to happen. It could. But if you took it that way, it would make you would have like less of the cup. You still schedule these great conference crossover games at the beginning of the year, because maybe you don't make it through that and you need to be at the end of the year. You need to be one of the 2 at-larges. So yeah, Texas, maybe we should play Ohio State or whatever. Maybe if we win that, we backdoor our way in.
Speaking of the Texas thing, I don't know if we've talked much about that since the Sarkeesian, politicking at the table of well, we scheduled Ohio State. You can't punish us because we lost to Ohio State in week 1. we're not punishing you because of that. We're punishing you because you lost to Florida. Like, you can't just use that as a security blanket if you schedule these big games and say, oh, well, I guess next year we'll just schedule Sacramento State, just play that one.
If 3 losses, just like Alabama. They're the.
But if they had 2 losses, like if they had 2 losses and a win over Ohio State, they'd probably be in. Like,
sure be in. If they had 2 losses and didn't lose to Florida, they'd be in.
Yeah.
Had they lost to Ohio State and not Florida, they'd be in. Like, that's not the problem. Isn't Ohio State? The problem is Florida. But again, here's the fallacy of the committee. They held that against Texas, but they didn't hold it against Alabama, who also had 3 losses and lost to Florida State. So
but that makes the argument of, do you get punished for making a conference championship game?
Correct.
That's why they're in.
I get it. This is what I mean. This is why I'm saying all of this. Until
there just has to be like
it has to be uniform.
The problem is that teams that make conference championship games will have one more data point than teams that didn't make conference championship game. And it used to not be a big deal in a 4-team playoff hardly because the 4 teams likely made a conference championship game.
Listen, in a 14 playoff, they left undefeated Florida State out because their quarterback got hurt. Like that. Yeah. That's crazy.
So
I just stew on it. What if every conference had the same criteria, right? We play through whatever the conference tournament looks like, and then that advances you. And however many teams that is, right? You just get there and I'm not going to give you like, here's how it could, but there is a conference tournament in every conference, and that tournament decides it's 3 teams that it sends. Everybody's is the same. I don't think we have the complaints we have now. You'd still have your at-larges. You'd still have room for James Madison, which I do think is important. I really do. Like, that has to stay. I think this eliminates decision-making, which is going to be influenced by self-interest. I don't care what anybody says about a committee. There is self-interest all over that thing. You can't put a committee together that wouldn't have self-interest to serve. You put me on that committee, BYU's in that tournament. And I'm like, because I'm a Big 12 honk.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just
imperfect,
imperfect, and it's always going to be imperfect. It'll never be perfect, but what it doesn't mean is that it can't get better. It's much better than it was 6 years ago. It can continue to get better. We've got to just not settle for this. And I'm just trying to figure out, how do we get the most uniform? All these commissioners outside of the Big Ten are pushing against the idea of set numbers of bids. But every time we go through this exercise, I'm like, God, if we're going to just put a committee in this, it's always going to be a problem. It's always going to be a problem. Take that part, take the human element out.
Just go back to 2. They always got it right when it was 2.
Good Lord, please no. I don't even know if I could watch college football anymore.
As a college football guy, I'm almost tempted to say go back to 2. As a Big 12 guy, absolutely don't go back to 2.
No chance. No chance at all. All right, we're coming right back. We got more Sports Daily for you. Don't go away.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
310-1 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
KFH.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. Glad to be with you here. Odyssey teaming up with the Kansas Humane Society for the 12 Strays of Christmas. Yesterday's stray, Brain, not Brian, has found his forever family. Check out all the full 12 Strays of Christmas list at kshumane.org. And even if you don't adopt and you want to help pets like Brain, KHS has a list of needed items they use every day. You can find that list at kfhradio.com. The 12 Strays of Christmas, supported by 316 Pet Supplies and XY in downtown Wichita. Don't miss Butler basketball tonight here on KFH, 7:15. It's going to get ready to go. Dennis Higgins will have the call for you right here, KFH Radio or kfhradio.com if you're not in your car. All right, TJ, we come back while we're discussing how to fix college sports things. NIL back in focus, transfer portal. It's that time of year. We've got teams bowing out of bowl games because of that. Troy Aikman said yesterday, he gave an anecdote of NIL on a podcast recently. He was basically saying he's done with it. Wrote a check one time to a player at UCLA, and that player took the check, left after a year, and that was it. And he's like, yeah, I'm not doing that again. We're seeing the bowl game system collapse largely because of all of this. Chris Kleiman retiring largely because of all of this. Chris Kleiman a couple of weeks ago saying the teams that have all the money are always going to be winning this thing, which, again, I would argue against that point that it's always been that way. But what can we do? Like where the Congress is trying to do stuff, and that's turned political, surprise. And like, are there any simple fixes to this issue that we see?
The two biggest ones that come to mind that I've been, preaching to the choir about is you have to move the calendar, like everybody's been talking about. But the hard part of that, I understand, devil's advocate. We've talked a lot about how stupid the portal window is to be during the playoff. But the other part of this is the fact that they're college kids and they have to register for classes. Like, they can't do this in February. Like, school has started. The only thing that you can do is say, I'm sorry that you want to leave. Stay there for the spring. We'll get this handled in April, and then we'll get you ready for your next semester to go do that. Or just stay in school, and you can't practice with your next school in the spring until the summer after classes get over. You have to finish the year prior. That's the biggest fix for that. Yeah, that's the biggest fix for that. That would fix a lot of the bowl game stuff, I think, because the players would still be there. They can still play. If you looked at what ASU did, Arizona State, Kenny Dillingham said at his press conference that if guys want to transfer, which Sam Levitt's going to transfer, he said, I don't care. Just stay in practice with us and play in the bowl game. Like, the bowl game is about the 2025 team, not the 2026 team. If you enter the transfer portal, just play the game. We don't care. Play one more game with your friends and then leave. Like, we're not going to have animosity towards you because you entered the portal. Like, just do that, which a lot of teams probably should do that. Like, imagine Will Howard saying he was going to the portal and playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. That'd be pretty cool to do something like that. So that's the biggest thing, changing the calendar around. That fixes a lot of the coaching stuff. That would fix the Lane Kiffin issue. That would fix the John Summerall issue. That would fix the Colin Klein issue, things of that sort. They can just hang out the current schools, then eventually go to their team. So move the portal window to then. That fixes a lot of things. Move National Signing Day to after the playoff as well. Would fix a lot of things as well. Second biggest thing is that, and I understand the complications of this too, is that players have to become employees, and you have to pay out 1099s and W-2s and everything of that sort. But if you could find a way to make them sign contracts to where they have to buy out of their NIL deals or their revenue share deals to go to their next school, and it can be as simple as if Ohio State wants Will Howard, Ohio State has to pay K-State $200,000 to take him from Kansas State. And that's all that has to, or Will Howard pays that himself and then leaves or whatever. It would be that basically. But it's like, if you want to come poach me, there is a price tag right here to say this is how much it's going to cost. And it would be something that was uniform. If it was like upperclassmen cost this much, underclassmen cost this much to buy out, that would fix a lot of it too. Because to Chris Kleiman's point, as we're talking about, the rich will always get richer because there's just no rules. And if you recruit somebody good at Wichita State basketball, whoever you want to say can come in. Mississippi State can come in, take Quincy Ballard, and Wichita State's just without the center, poof, just like that. All the money they invested in him is now gone as well. So if you can do that, it keeps schools like Wichita State with the money flowing. Your return on investment isn't as bad. We talked yesterday about depreciation. There's literally, it's 100% depreciation. The money just goes away. Like, there's no retaining the money. That would give you something as well. Those are my two fixes, and I think that would fix a lot.
Well, the contract thing, I've been advocating for that since the beginning of NIL and all of since the beginning of the transfer portal issue. We'll put them under contract, right? Like, you're not there, and revenue share to me opens the door for that. Like, okay, we have to revenue share. In order for you to take your piece of the revenue share, you have to be here. Like, you're here for X amount of time, and that's the end of it. Like, period. If you're not. Because if you were under contract, you could reinforce having to sit out a while. I mean, I've worked in television forever. Every contract I've ever been has a non-compete like that.
Yep.
Like if I were to leave, there's a time. If I leave before it expires, there's an amount of time. Like I'm not allowed to work in the industry, especially in against it for a peer, for a competitor. And so that stuff easily works itself out. I just like if there is now, here's what I think would be helpful. If you could take all the NIL money, and I think we're starting to see this, and we'll see how it gets used, like the total collection of NIL money, and we're seeing these GMs, right? If you just collected all the money together, and then these GMs, along with coaches, could figure out a way to disperse it how they see fit, right, in order to get certain players, you could also, in that collection of money, do other things with it to pay insurance costs or whatever the reason is that they don't want to put players under contract. I mean, there are taxable reasons. Some kids don't know that they have to pay taxes. Are they going to be W-2 employees where those taxes are automatically? I get all that. I really do. And that wouldn't, I mean, you could argue that they're full-time employees, but there's a lot of tax implications on that for the schools and for everybody else. But can the NIL money as a whole be used, to offset that? Maybe. But until you get to that point, without legislation on the books that says they can't just willy-nilly transfer, they're going to willy-nilly transfer because right now there is no law that prevents it. Yep. The only way through is a law. And I don't think politicians right now who most of the time are just trying to win the court of public opinion, it's too split from people like, are you really going to say these players? You're going to just make a law that says they're stuck?
I know that's the hard part.
Are you really going to let this thing that so many people care about just crash and burn? So the politicians, they don't know who to try to go please. Like they don't, heaven forbid they just have an independent thought on something.
It's so hard because the current legislation in the NCAA is the fact like you can't, and that was
meaningless.
You can't, like that's always been the biggest thing, and that was the first thing that I wondered as well, is that like whatever Wichita's back when it was armchair strategies, and it was like we're going to give Craig Porter Jr. a car, and I was like, holy cow, Craig Porter Jr. got a car? That is insane. And then I'm like, what if he leaves? Like, what happens to the car? Like, does he have to give the car back? And everybody was just wondering about that. And it's like, you can't tell them that you have to give the money back. Like, that is illegal to do. It is their money. You can't do that because it's not a contract.
You cannot give the money all up front.
Yeah,
you can tie it to. You can,
and that was
the
the Dylan Edwards thing. Is that like, well, he left. What happened to the money that we paid him? It's in his bank account. That's how paychecks work. Like he has the money. Like if I quit my job,
and that's semantics. Don't pay him all at once.
Yeah,
don't put the car on a lease and lease it to Wichita State, and Wichita State says, "All right, you can drive the car."
Yeah,
right?
It's always been the biggest thing is that name, image, and likeness can't be tied to specific locations or stuff like that. That's like the legislation that it reads basically. Is that
and that makes sense too, because that tries to eliminate just booster money coming in, right? It makes it more legitimate that a business wants that player to help them sell their product. It's tough. And again, like you either embrace it or you don't. And this is like, I look at what's happening at Texas Tech, what happened at TCU a few years ago. You either embrace it or you don't. And if you don't, I applaud Chris Kleiman a lot. He wasn't ready. He was never going to embrace it. And at some point, you're going to be like, you know what? Time for me to get out of the way.
The thing is, though, like he's not. There's a lot of people out there that, I always joke. You go to a golf course, within an hour, you're going to hear about how much people hate that college players get paid. And it never fails. If somebody asks what I do and I tell them that I cover sports, they're like, God, I can't believe we're paying these kids.
Well, or they're real subtle about it. They're like, so what do you think about?
Yes,
you
100%.
can tell you're like, you don't.
You're like, okay, we're gonna have this conversation on hole 4, aren't we? Like, okay, let's do it. The thing is that like, if it wasn't public knowledge and nobody knew, like that's what we always talk about
before.
The thing is if you turn the TV on, the football's still awesome. Like that's the thing. Like everything that is good about college football is the football. And like the fact that you're paying kids doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter to the fan at all.
Is that people pretend like kids weren't getting paid before.
That too. But even if they weren't, like in this vacuum, if this was the first time kids ever saw a dime, like the thing is, who cares? If you're not giving them your money, nobody cares. That's just you pocket watching 18-year-olds at this point. The thing that you can complain about is the portal, is the calendar, is the coaches leaving. That's the part, and that's the part that Chris Kleiman didn't like. Chris Kleiman didn't give a crap about paying players.
K-State was one of the first schools out there to embrace NIL. It is nothing to do with paying the players. He doesn't like the portal, and I don't like the portal. I'm not sure anybody likes the portal, but the portal is the right, correct, legally speaking thing to have in place.
There just has to be rules. Like that's the only thing that people want. And the thing is so stupid about this is there still is portal rules. The rule says you get one free transfer. And then after that, it has to be a waiver that's signed. But every coach in the country has just become, I'll sign it. I don't care. Like
it doesn't matter. You're not going to win that legal battle most of the time, right? Like if you really wanted to draw that out, there's like the NCAA loses these all the time.
The argument to make is Colby Rogers at Wichita State. The Siena coach didn't sign the waiver because he's like, I didn't run him off. He was our best player. Why would I sign that piece of paper telling him that I didn't want him here because he wanted to leave?
Way back when, TJ, Greg Marshall was one of the only guys that did sign the waiver. That wasn't that long ago. He had a long history of saying, yeah, fine, I'll sign it. Coaches didn't sign those waivers back then.
I know. And now if you don't sign the waiver, you're the jerk. But like the thing is, the argument to make about that though, on the other side of this is the Siena coach didn't sign Colby's waiver. It's like, what's your end game? Is Colby going to come back? Like, if they're gone, they're gone.
Well, you doing the best thing for the kid or for yourself?
Exactly. I know. But it's not even the best thing for yourself. What's going to happen out of this? Yeah, screw that guy.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Right. Yeah. Like he's not coming back. He's just gone. Exactly. The portal needs to be the priority, but I don't think there's a way around it without actual like federal legislation. So we'll see if that ever gets done. I think it will. It's just taking longer than I'd hoped to be, if I'm being real honest. I'd hoped by this point we'd be through most of it, and we're not close yet, unfortunately. All right, we'll come back. We got another hour of Sports Daily. We'll talk a little college hoops. Shreyas Laddha joining us in this hour as well. Stick around. It's all Brockton Cleveland on a Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
310-1 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on the Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH, this is Sports Daily.
Aloha, Mr. Howard.
All right, welcome back into the second hour here of Sports Daily. TJ Cleveland and Jacob Albrocht in with you. We've talked a lot about the state of college athletics. Jacob, I got another one for you here. A national writer here about college football has been talking about how much he hates the fact that James Madison is into the playoff because they haven't had a single top 50 win in the country, and they have the opportunity to get into the playoff. And everybody's just going back after him. It's like, in college basketball, we have the MEAC champion in the dance. Like it's fine for conference champions to get in. And now he's taking the stance of football's not like every other sport. It's a height, weight, and speed type of thing. It's literally a safety issue for them. And everybody said, here's a safety issue for you. Northern Illinois beating Notre Dame last year.
Safety issue? It reminds me of at that point, give it up, bro. We played a soundbite. That's what this reminds me of. We played a soundbite last night. I don't know if you saw this. There's a group of protesters at one of the Kansas sites for a potential Royals stadium. And there was like a woman on there, an older woman. Her argument was that at a stadium, there will be a whole bunch of drunk drivers, and there's a lot of, particularly a lot of young 16 and 17-year-old drivers in that town who would be in danger if a stadium came. It's like, okay, that's certainly a stance to take.
We're thinking ahead, I guess. Give them credit.
16-year-olds driving around at 10:30 at night when the game's out. Yeah. I mean, come on. Like, James Madison's in because that's the way we've set it up correctly, that we put in a team, the next best conference champion that's in the group of 5. It's the best thing they ever did. This year, it's not going to work out. This year, it's going to be irrelevant, right? It's not going to be a thing this year. There have been teams in the past, as recently as the Cincinnati teams, but you go back and look at some of those UCF, Houston back in the day, Boise that beat Oklahoma. Those teams were good enough, like to go toe to toe. And from time to time, that's going to happen. This isn't one of those years. So great, James Madison, go in and have your fun and maybe give us a quarter of excitement before ultimately it's over.
Look at last year. I mean, last year we've had 2 12-team playoffs. Last year, the group of 5 team got a bye because they were the 4th highest rated conference champion. This year, the ACC didn't get in, and we got 2 group of 5. Like, people act like whenever, and the thing so funny about this is that they made the playoff based on when the Pac-12 was still a thing. So there was going to be no group of 5 that got in, and they've just kind of backdoored their way in and gotten lucky. And it's awesome.
It's the best thing ever. It was always a part of the plan, and it needs to be, because it was one of the gripes, right? Was, again, our goal should be finding the best team. And we had those years like Cincinnati recently where we were like, guys, they've been unbeaten for 2 years with some really good wins mixed in there. Like, that they needed, and they fared well, right? In when they got in. So like you can't ever leave a doubt that you found the best team. That's the Notre Dame argument this year. You just don't want to leave it hanging. Like, our goal should always be to determine who the best team is. We don't get it as black and white as most tournaments because it's so hard to get into this one. But at the end of the day, that's why these rules are in there. That's why you have a group of 5. That's why you try to leave at-larges for scenarios where a team maybe has those losses, but boy, they've shown you that that team could be the best team. So it helps you for injury if you had a couple of weeks without your quarterback, like whatever it may be. Like Texas Tech, could you imagine? They lose their quarterback and they lose a game. That team could win a national championship. That would be a travesty. We'll get into it. We'll talk to Shreyas Laddha about it a little bit. Talk to him about the Kotelnicki rumors. It's all what's on tap today. Brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company. Groups now featuring a Christmas cocktail menu. Dazzle your date with a stockings and snowfall. Make merry with a mistletoe mint. Girls for a pumped espresso martini. The Christmas cocktail menu now available at Wichita Brewing Company, where groups gather for the holiday season. Man, we have the same. This is the problem. Let's have a moment of honesty. This is why I've always had a hard time with college football. Always. Going back to when I was a kid. The BCS was the first try. And I'm like, man, we put so much into this for what? Right? Like, I get it once you go to school somewhere and you're an alumni and all those things, but you know, all those years and all that time and energy, and you don't have a chance to actually win anything. Like, what's on the line here? So we're getting solving that. We are. It's imperfect. It's always going to be imperfect, but it can be better. And so how do you get it better? That's why I really appreciate the state of mind of a guy like your Mark.
Yeah, I agree.
And say, yeah, it's not perfect, but it's all about progress, not perfection. I would have liked to see BYU get in, but I get it. Like, they it's fine.
I mean, honestly, like from where we started, as you're saying here, like I think it's pretty good. Like, as much as like 16 would be.
God, it's so much better than it used to be.
I know, and like 16 would be cool too, just to eliminate the buys and probably get like some first round games in there. Probably would
And
be
help you with the bowl game problem.
a little bit of that too. Well, the thing is, Jacob, you keep saying this thing about making the bowl games college football playoff games. They are. That's what they are already. The first round of games
make them
is
all.
not.
Like if you went to 16, you could now you wouldn't be able to fit every bowl game in, but the Liberty Bowl could be a first round game every other year.
The thing of that, if you do that though, like you would eliminate the home game part of this, and everybody wants the home.
And
game.
I don't care about that. I would if I shouldn't say that. I don't care about bowl games. If we want to preserve bowl games, we don't care that you lose the home game. If you don't care about the bowl games, then you just have the home game and you don't care about the bowl games.
I think the bowl games, the first round and the second, if it's 12 team right now, the first round is all home games, and the second round should also be all home games. That's what everybody's saying.
The teams with buys don't get a chance.
Exactly, they're getting punished.
I honestly, I think. And this is just a wild. If you made every play, if you went to 16 and they were all bowl games, how fired up would you be if you're a K-State fan? And it would get expensive, and I get that. And maybe they're not all sellouts, but all bowl games aren't sellouts anyway. Bowl games aren't sellouts, but like you're playing K-State versus I don't know Michigan in an opening round game in Memphis, Tennessee. That would be badass. Now, it would be hard to get there, but it would be so cool.
But think about this. K-State goes off the rails, and they're great, and they're like a top, 9 team in the country. They get a home game, and they're going to play Alabama at home. Have fun flying to...
would be awesome.
Yeah, flying to Orlando to watch that game. Put it in the freaking Bill Snyder Family Stadium.
In that scenario, though, put them all. But here's what you're going to have when that happens. You're going to get yourself into more semantics of, we should have been a higher seed than them. We should have been playing that game at our place. There is something to...
it's always going to be subjective.
But you eliminate a lot of that by having them be neutral court games.
Oh, no way. I disagree.
Neutral field.
Disagree with
It's just an idea. I think it'd be a fun idea for those that want to preserve.
That's what people have been talking about. Why bowl games have died is that
because they don't mean anything.
No, that, but it's more so the fact of like oh nice. Let's find an example here. Oh nice. KU made another bowl game. I wonder who they're going to play. Oh, it's I don't even know who they played in this game actually. Who'd they play in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl? Oh, UNLV.
No idea.
It was UNLV. It's like, oh nice. KU got a bowl game against UNLV. We get to watch them play one more game. Let's fly to Phoenix, Arizona for it.
That's what it's been forever, and that's what
I know,
but
that's why it's died. Is that it's oh cool, it's one more game that doesn't mean much, but it's pretty cool to watch our team play one last game. Let's fly across the country to an NFL stadium and watch it.
Look, you can regionalize it to where the travel is lessened a little bit. I'd have to look at a stack of bowl games and say which ones. I don't know, but it would keep it the most fair as far as somebody getting screwed by having to go on the road in the playoffs. But again, both of these things in college basketball, there are no home games. In college baseball, there are for a little while. It doesn't, that part doesn't matter.
The argument that I've seen to save the bowl games, if you want to save the bowl games, is that you make the bowl games non-conference games at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, you could do that too. Yeah,
then it gets fun.
Same idea.
Duke's
because
Mayo
people are
Bowl
so wired to get on the road and do something. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Here's the thing that bothers me more than any of this that we've been talking about is this gap that we'll sit through before we play the games.
Oh yeah, it sucks.
That to me is
that's
most
part of the calendar. That's what's wrong with the calendar.
You exactly, because they're so hell bent on getting these games to the Christmas break. So if you're going to do that, why not just play games and expand the playoff?
And they act like the championship isn't in the middle of January. Make that Christmas break.
They act like they're the NFL and we're just going to sit around and wait. Most of us. I'm not fired up for those first round. If those first round games were right now, I would watch every second of every one of them.
Indiana's not going to play for 2.5 weeks.
Days.
Yeah,
25 days, 3.5 weeks. I'd be fired up to watch it now. Am I going to be fired up at Christmas time when it's the NFL playoffs? Meh. Maybe. We'll come back. We got more Sports Daily. Don't go away.
hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas fan headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
everybody. Sports Daily here on KFH. Jacob Albrock, TJ Cleveland, Shreyas Laddha coming up in just a little bit. Glad to be here with you. If you want to win some HTO, you can do that right now. Text us the keyword T to the short code 20357. That'll get you a free cup of iced tea, East Wichita, West Wichita, or Derby. One of the 25 flavors to choose from while you're in. Grab a gift card. All kinds of good Christmas gift options in there as well. You can enter our free tea giveaway contest once a day. Message and data rates apply. Man, looking at some of these videos out of Japan where they had another earthquake. Is there any, to me, earthquakes win the scary natural disaster contest. You can't see them coming. You can't see them. Like a tornado, we know a tornado's coming. We've got radar. We can kind of know where it is. We can get into shelter. Like an earthquake just comes. You got nothing. Like we got no idea. I suppose like a volcano eruption or getting hit by a meteor would both also be bad. But earthquakes to me are just the ones that terrify me.
Yeah. I mean, we can break down natural disasters in this segment if you want to. But I've got Chiefs talk for us to talk about.
I just saw that. Yes, we're going to talk Chiefs. Go ahead.
The thing I just sent you on social media.
Yeah,
you want to talk about that?
Yeah. I want to talk about as we look at it and dissect that. I heard Blake Bell right here on the Chiefs Kingdom show last night, which was awesome. Just hearing from the Belldozer kind of talk about things. The season's not over yet. It will be. It's not yet. They keep playing. It blows me away how entitlement in sports works. I as an adult, the closest thing I have to it is when I was, a kid with the Cowboys in the mid 90s. But I don't remember feeling entitled the way adults seem to be entitled. Like for us around here, I think the two biggest groups sometimes and we saw this with K-State football this year too, but KU basketball fans sometimes to me don't have a good perspective on how great they are because it's never enough. Apparently Chiefs fans feel this way too. We saw it with K-State football. But how quickly, TJ, we forget that the Chiefs have been to 5 of the last 6 flipping Super Bowls. Now they've hosted 7 straight AFC championship games. At this point, they can do no wrong for a little while, and it's okay. I mean, my goodness.
I mean, if you like that's the thing is that I wanted to send you this because I knew that I was going to tell you that fans wanted to get rid of Andy Reid, and you were going to say, no, they don't. No, they don't.
Well,
fans think that.
You're in an echo chamber. Most fans don't want to get rid of Andy Reid.
Well, absolutely.
There's a small group of people online.
Yes.
There's a small group of people online that think the earth is flat.
I mean, there was a group of people online that wanted Chris Kleiman fired. There was a group of people online that wanted Lance Leipold fired, that want Bill Self to retire.
Right.
It's insane. And we talk about it a lot on this show of the best thing that you can do for your franchise is to not fire your coach until it gets really bad. Like that's
until you have some semblance that it's not going to get better. Right. Yeah. That's the thing. Like the Bill Self stuff. People were concerned about Self because he had health scares. And then it's like, is he going to be able to keep up in this world? And my counter to that has been for the last few years, he hasn't had a chance to yet. He's kind of been stuck with a roster. Yeah. Give him a chance to react. And then Darren Peterson comes in. So, Chris Kleiman is a better case. I get it. He is because of where they've finished in the Big 12 for the last couple of years. But again, then you have to look big picture and think about, can it get better? Like realistically, can it get better than that? When you talk about Andy Reid and the Chiefs, the answer is no. It cannot get better. You are not going to get better than going to 5 out of 6 Super Bowls. It does not get better than that.
It's insane. Like I'm sitting here. I have a tweet pulled up that I'm staring at. It's from Darth Mahomes. So I'm going to call him out since it's not an actual person's Twitter. They say Reid can no longer make it with Patrick Mahomes. Based on what?
That's so stupid. Just absolutely ridiculous. This has been an insanely disappointing season. Put this let's say that it is. It has been. It will be. But it's like you've never watched the NFL before. A, the margins are so small. And when you consider they didn't have their best offensive playmaker for 6 games, when you consider the left tackle that was appearing to solve some of the issues that prevented them from winning the Super Bowl they went to last year was playing really well, and he then was gone for how many games was he gone? 5? For 5 games, I think it was. The injury to a must-win game against the league's best defense, down 4 offensive linemen. Like, that stuff matters in the NFL. I'm not making excuses for it because a lot of what has put them in this position doesn't have anything to do with that stuff, and it's just been mistakes that they've made. And I'm also the one that's telling you Andy Reid's decision to go for it on 4th down in that spot is one of the worst I can remember any coach making. But there's nuance in football, man. Like, it's just been a tough year, and that happens. The Chiefs have been to 5 out of 6 Super Bowls. Like, ask any fan base outside of New England what that's like, and they won't be able to tell you because it doesn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's what we talk about in college. Although we don't talk about this that much in the NFL because it doesn't happen as much in the NFL. Like, you don't fire, coaches when your team isn't terrible, basically. Like there's hardly ever any coaches that are fired in
we're having Pittsburgh has the Mike Tomlin conversation every year. Is he are we ever going to be able to get better than this? And that one, even though I think it's silly because I look more at the job he's done without a quarterback as a positive, but I think you could look at it and say, is he ever going to be able to, get that next step? I think that's a valid question. What is the question with Andy Reid? Legitimately.
That people
They've
think
won
it's over.
3 Super Bowls in the last 6 years. They've been to 5.
Are convinced that he's lost the fastball and they're never going back to the Super Bowl again. Like, why?
What? Yeah, based on what?
I know.
That his receivers keep dropping passes at an insane rate. How many bad drops did we see in that Houston game?
Like 5.
At least 5. How many of those are Andy Reid's fault? Let's say half are Mahomes' fault and half are the receiver's fault. How many are Andy Reid's fault?
Not a 1.
0. And if half of those are made, we have a different outcome in the game. How many times does Andy Reid on special teams kick the ball out of bounds or doink it off the right upright? It's a different game if Harrison Butker makes that field goal. The Jacksonville game probably isn't a loss if Butker doesn't kick it out of bounds. What does that have anything to do with Andy Reid? The players are the most responsible for this year. Now, if we didn't have a long track record of Andy Reid being one of the best to ever do it, then you could say, okay, maybe he's not putting them in a good position. This season is on the players. And every single one of those players, you could hook them up to a lie detector test, and they would tell you that it's their fault and they are correct. And they would not be lying just to say something. It is 100% on the players this year.
Yep, it is. And I just thinking about this, I want a reporter to be bold enough to ask Veach the next time he talks, or Clark Hunt, like, what do you think about Andy Reid's job security? They'll say,
but that's not even a real question.
I know.
From anybody especially from a reporter that is like that's not a question.
Because nobody believes that except for random people.
Right. And again, like, to not have the perspective of, like, you have to just remember what it was like before Andy Reid. I mean, for the Chiefs, it should be easy. Like, what was it like before? That's what it could be like after.
The argument
not because you have Mahomes,
to play the devil's advocate of what the people are saying is the fact of, like, those coaches didn't have Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs sucked when they hired those coaches. They could get a good coach in and have them coach Patrick Mahomes, and maybe everything would be good. Guess what? It was good a calendar year ago.
It's already good. It's good now. They've had a bad year. They've made a lot of mistakes this year, but that's not, again. And Andy Reid deserves some of the blame. Again, don't go for it on 4th down on your own, 30 in a tie ball game. Yeah, he's done some things incorrectly. Does he need to spice up the playbook a little bit to adjust to a few things with his star players? Yeah, probably so. I don't, Matt, if you're looking for a whipping boy, it's Matt Nagy. not for any reason other than it's not Andy Reid, right? That's like,
I mean,
it's not.
We've talked about that as well.
You can give Brett Veach more. You can give Veach more grief than you can give Andy Reid.
I agree. The thing about the Matt Nagy argument,
a large number of first-round picks.
The thing about the Matt Nagy argument that we talked about yesterday, it's like, we got to get a new offensive coordinator. Oh, you mean the guy that calls the plays? Because that's not Matt Nagy.
Yeah, I mean, he might have some. There may be some plays, but we all know that. That's Andy Reid. Yeah, if you want to find something, and there were rumors of the Veach too, which I think are stupid, but like we can have a conversation about missing on Felix Anudike-Uzomah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, perhaps Xavier Worthy. Like, like if you want to have those, like, okay, fine. But he's also kept Patrick Mahomes around, figured out a way to massage in Chris Jones and Travis Kelce, and brought in and replaced a lot of really good players when they couldn't afford them. Like, he's done a wonderful job. I'm not like, but even with that, like, like the last two people you would ever want to see a change. Here's my opinion on this, Chiefs fans. Andy Reid would be the second to last, and Mahomes would be the last.
Yeah. 100%.
That's it. Here's the other thing about Andy Reid. He already got inexcusably run off one place in Philadelphia. You think the Eagles regretted that? Of course they did. It took them a long time to get to where they are now. Even with that, they went 8-8 and then 4-12 the year after. Andy Reid's probably going to finish this season 9-8 or 10-7. And that'll be the worst year he's had in Kansas City.
Yep. Yeah. We're to be clear here. If you can't tell, Jacob and I are not in the camp of making changes for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Not that kind of change.
Yes.
Hell no. The changes they're going to have to make are more Brett Veach's responsibility now than Andy Reid's.
The thing you do,
the reality of it.
And they're going to have to, and we talked about this yesterday, the thing that they're going to have to do, they don't have a choice, is they're going to look at this offseason and say, okay, we got holes, let's go fill them, and then just try it again. Because you've lost a lot of one-score games. You could very well clean that up, stop making the stupid mistakes that you've made, and then you're right back in it.
TJ, they could be 13-0, and these changes are going to have to be made next year.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true too.
So, like, that is like, if you're thinking about the future, ball's in your court, Brett Veach, because you've got to figure out how to replace Travis Kelce, probably. You've got to figure out how to replace Trent McDuffie, probably. You've got to hope that one of these guys plays right tackle. You've got to recreate offensive line depth. You have to make sure your defense is still awesome. You hope that the offense will be okay, but you probably need to more effectively run the ball next year. Like, there's a lot of things that they're going to have to tweak and change and get better at. And they don't have much money to do it with. So the creativity of Veach has to start now. He wouldn't trade places with anybody because he gets to start with 15. But it's not going to be easy next year. They're not going to be the Super Bowl favorite next year. Under almost no circumstances would they be the favorite next year. And that will be unfamiliar territory for them. I mean, they weren't this year either, but they were right there. And every other year of these, they have been. Like, I don't think that's going to be the case next year. It'll be a new look Chiefs.
I agree. And I'm interested to see what they do with it. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting draft. It's going to be interesting free agency.
Defense, and I'm with you on probably investing at running back. And the reality is they can't do that in free agency. It doesn't make any financial sense. Yeah, so it's going to have to be an early-ish pick. But an early-ish pick with Kareem Hunt makes some sense. Maybe it's also with Isaiah Pacheco. But Pacheco and Hunt together, they need sort of a bell cow. Like, we know what Hunt does really well, right? He has his role, and he's better at it than anybody right now. But it's not, and I know we saw him carry it 30 times. Man, that was such an impressive performance for him. But it's not him carrying the ball 30 times. Yeah. So that's a thing. The defense is a thing. And then, I mean, what do you do with the passing game without Travis Kelce?
Yeah. It's interesting what they're going to do with that tight end position specifically. Like, do you let Noah Gray be the guy? Like that
I mean,
seems what they're going to have to do.
They just drafted Casey not that long ago with the high pick.
Wiley,
sorry.
Jared Casey.
Yeah, no, they just drafted Wiley out of TCU not that long ago. He's been hurt, and then we kind of see him for a minute. Like, is he developing? And listen, tight ends take a long time to develop, so he could absolutely be an option there. I have no idea what they think of him because he's been stuck behind Kelsey and Noah Gray, who before recently Noah Gray was never make a mistake. Noah Gray, like always do the right thing. Noah Gray, and then now he's got the dropsies. So I mean, maybe you don't lean into your tight ends as a big function of the passing game. Part of what made part of what's made that work so well, it's not so much that Kelsey plays tight end, it's that Kelsey is so simpatico with Mahomes. Can that become Rashee Rice? I think it probably could. I mean, there's a lot of questions they've got to figure out. But right now, they've got to try to go win 4 football games. And and that's, you just have to do that until you're dead, you're not dead. And so they got to go out against the Chargers and just see what happens. You never know. And for everybody that's like, oh, the Colts, go talk to them. They didn't think they were dead before Daniel Jones tore his Achilles.
I know.
Now they're dead. But that kind of stuff happens to the NFL. Who's to say Josh Allen doesn't get hurt in Buffalo? And then what's Buffalo, right? Like, that's why the Chiefs right now just go win all of these games and just make sure you're dead and don't have a pulse before you zip up the body bag.
Speaking of being dead, nobody cares about fantasy football, but I'm going to tell you this anyway over the air. In my big money league, I'll just call it that, not really big money league. My main league I pay attention to, my dynasty, I have sold my entire future to have a chance to go make a run this year. I got second last year. I traded CJ Stroud for Daniel Jones to ride the hot hand. And my backup quarterbacks are Dylan Gabriel and Michael Penix. So I did not have a single quarterback on my roster. I'm heading into the playoffs this week now with my starting quarterback being Riley Leonard.
Boy, you and the Colts have a lot on the line. You better pick up Phillip Rivers.
I know. I'm thinking about it.
He will get. Oh man, I love the story. I'm terrified if he actually has to get in there and try to play.
Did you see the side note about the Hall of Fame? He would be eligible for the Hall of Fame because it's been 5 years. And then if he signs to the roster, his clock resets 5 more years.
No way.
Yeah.
Because he's borderline.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you just have to wait a little longer. His case.
What would have been really interesting is if this happened next year. It's like, are they going to have an active Hall of Famer on their roster?
God, that would have been awesome. He wouldn't make it his first time. What if he goes and leads the Colts to a Super Bowl? What if he doesn't? What if Riley Leonard does? But then we can still call Phillip Rivers. We can say, well, he has a Super Bowl ring
on the practice squad of the Colts.
Does that seal the deal? Yeah. Oh man, I didn't think about that. We'll have Shreyas Laddha in next. Let's talk a little KU when we come back on Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
83-10-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea.
With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on the Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Is on KFH. And now, digging deeper with the teams you follow, it's another Sports Daily Insider interview on KFH.
And we welcome you back in here with Shreyas Laddha, KC Star, beat reporter for KU football, for KU basketball, at SHRE98 on X. Shreyas, good to be back with you here. How annoying? How annoying has it been to cover this Darren Peterson story?
It's not been my favorite story that I've covered. Honestly, kind of reminds me, not to draw comparisons because they're very different players. The Jalen Daniel injury updates I've written in my 3 years on the KU beat. I think I've written so many Jalen Daniel injury updates. I probably wrote about half of that with Darren Peterson in the span of the last month.
Yeah, sure is. We talked to you last week about the situation. He didn't play against UConn, and it was kind of the fact of like, if he's practicing, is he fine to play? Then he plays, and it gets even weirder, in my opinion, that he plays, and then he comes out, and then he's getting, like, rolled out on the floor of the T-Mobile Center. Then he goes back to the locker room. Then he comes back out, and then Bill Self says that he's sick. What happened on Sunday?
Yeah, Bill said pregame that he was sick. He said he didn't have a minutes restriction, but it didn't seem like he was gonna. He said he was gonna play him 40 anyways, which made sense, right? He's coming off a hamstring strain. He got sick on Friday. Bill was like, I was worried that I was gonna have to tell you guys that he was gonna miss the game, and then you guys would say I'm bullshitting when I'm telling the truth 100%. And I was like, well, I think the lack of transparency on KU's end has been the reason why a lot of people have been speculating, right? Because when the hamstring thing happened, initially it started off as cramps, then it became he was sick, then it was a hamstring thing happened that day, then it actually became it happened a few days before that. And then the saga has been ongoing from there. But he looked good in limited minutes, and obviously, he only played, I think, 23 minutes that game, only 5 minutes in the second half. They didn't really need him, but Bill said he was targeting him for about 27 minutes that day, and he maybe would have put him in if the game was close, but he didn't feel like to push it, with him feeling kind of sick. He got sick on Friday. It's kind of like that stomach stuff that's apparently going through the team.
So let's talk about while he was out there, though. Boy, looked good. And if given just a little bit of time with the way these other guys have grown and developed, what are we, if we reestablish the ceiling? I'm saying top 10. I'm saying this can be a top 10 team. If he's able to play, that's what I'm seeing. What are you seeing?
I think so too. I mean, I think they're really good with him. They were pretty good without him. They beat ranked team without him. They had an impressive tournament run in Vegas. I think the ceiling for me is much higher than I thought it was before he was hurt, to be honest. Just because I felt like, I think this is the second weekend team. I think if Peters is healthy and KU's defense looks as good as it's looked so far this season, they're going to make a deep run. Obviously, nothing is guaranteed come in March, but I think this has the recipe for a top 10 team. And this seems like the best defense Bill itself has had in years.
Yeah. The one other thing that he said after the game about Darren Peterson is the fact of what did the question was, how did you think it looked? Like, we haven't seen this happen in, a month basically of him out on the court. Like, did it look like you want it to look together? And he kind of said that he thought that they looked better without Darren Peterson on the court. And I think that speaks a lot of what they have learned about this team in Vegas against UConn in the last couple of weeks.
No, 100%. I think Bill noted it. A lot of guys were just kind of standing around, letting Darren Peterson do his thing. That integration is going to take some time and kind of find that flow. But I think the perfect thing about Darren coming back, the day he did come back, is they give a couple of games before conference play starts. So you have about 4 games to kind of figure him out, put him back in the lineup, and get him back to what he was looking like before the injury. But also make sure the team is on the same page as he is. But overall, for how much less flow they had on the offensive end, I mean, they dominated Missouri. Darren looked pretty good in limited minutes. I think if you're a Kansas fan, you're pretty happy about that game.
Yeah, I think he looks great. I mean, I think he's just such a perfect fit for what they need. Like, they have this, even though they're playing well, they have this very clear need, like very obvious what they need. And that's like, it's him. It's literally, it's what he does well. Man, just get on the court. Please just give us.
I'll ask you this question. What do you think will he ever play like a full 40 minutes? Like, what is the ceiling and when could that hit?
I mean, I think he'll play a full 40 minutes, but I don't think it's going to happen until January.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I'm just asking. I mean, March Madness, you think he might play the entire game?
Yeah, 100%. Especially if it's a close game. Elite 8, Sweet 16, Final Four, whatever. I think Peterson's going to play the whole game, especially because, I mean, he's gone after this year, so might as well play.
Exactly.
if he's healthy, might as well play 40 if they need him to play 40 or 38 or whatever they need.
One of the other big points, sorry, Jacob, out of the Sunday is the fact of the border war and what it means for the future. Dennis Gates is very pro border war. Bill Self is kind of pro border war, but he's more pro players era, basically.
I mean, it makes sense, right? There's no incentive, I think, for Kansas outside of the rivalry's sake. This day and age, making money is the most important thing. Let's call it what it is. I know fans want to see a border war, but I mean, at least on the basketball side, it's kind of one-sided, right? Outside of last year, KU has dominated the border war on basketball. It's kind of like what it is with football right now, with K-State and Kansas or Missouri and Kansas or whatever. But I understand why Dennis Gates wants to play Kansas. It's why Kansas wants to play Kansas State. I mean, it's almost in the sense of like beating them as the gold standard, right, in how good your season could be or is. There's no incentive for Kansas to play Missouri outside of the rivalry, in my sense. And I also just don't understand why they're playing in T-Mobile Center. I think, I get it. Kansas City is kind of an extension of Lawrence, and I think KU heavily dominates that city. That being said, it got loud on Sunday, but it certainly is much louder in Allen Fieldhouse against Missouri.
This one wasn't part of the original contract, was it? This was like a one-off game.
I think so. Yeah. I think they both agreed, but technically it counted as a home game for KU. So
yeah.
All right, Shreyas, we're seeing a lot of people speculate, I think, more than anything right now on Andy Kotelnicki as we switch to football. Are you hearing are there any legs to that, or is this just KU fans hoping that the planets align and he may come back?
I've heard some murmurs about them having discussion. The issue that I've heard is like it's kind of a weird like what is his role, and also like when I talked to Goff a few years back for a sit-down interview and about a bunch of different things. I think this is when KU football was having a struggling season, which was last year. I'd asked him straight up, I'd heard that there was a head coach and waiting clause, and Goff basically came out and said yes without saying yes. In the sense, he's like, "That's a very good question. We put everything on the table." So if he comes back, is that in the contract? And on top of that, I think it's a little bit of a budget thing, because if the premise is they want to bring Andy Kotelnicki back, then they can't really make a lot of other moves. Like if they want to fire DK McDonald or let him go or whatever, I think the buyout is $1.5 million. So it's kind of a tough situation for Kansas, because yes, if you bring Andy back, that is going to adversely affect the budget, and yes, he'll be a big addition, but then you might have to hold back on some other potential moves they want to make, like getting rid of DK if that's a possibility, or some other position coaches, et cetera, just because of buyout stuff. But I think there is some legs to it, especially because Andy hasn't been picked up by any staff so far, or even looked at really. I've heard. So he could come back. I don't know what the role would be, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Exactly. That was my biggest question with it, is that I'm sure KU would love to have him back. And if he wants to come back, I'm sure that they would take him. He was, beloved whenever he was here. But the question is now is that they have two offensive coordinators, don't they? Don't they have co-offensive coordinators? Like, do those guys get demoted to put him back? Are they going to have three offensive coordinators? Like, where does he fit?
I wonder if they just bring him as a consultant, or he's like associate head coach and they don't have an official title outside of that. I don't really know where the premise of this thing. I think Andy would do a great job with Zabrowski and Matt Lubick, but I don't know what the official title would be outside of associate head coach.
Yeah. Well, something's got to change. How are things coming on that front? Like, they're not going to play in a bowl game. They denied it with whatever.
Did you get a reason why, Shreyas? Do you know why they said no to the bowl game, or did you just get a confirmation that they just said no?
I'd asked around from a lot of people, and nobody wanted to touch that poll. I've heard from a donor, and this is them speculating, is bowl games are losers, money wise for most teams. Between that and a lot of players being scattered postseason, they weren't necessarily super surprised that Kansas declined the bowl game.
They're losers before. This is the first year of rev share. Nobody's talking about that.
That's fair. That's fair.
I've been wondering if they're a much larger loser now, and teams are like, yeah, we're not doing that.
I mean, it's kind of interesting because, I mean, there was like 7-8 teams that declined out besides just Kansas before Appalachian State said, yes, we'll play Georgia Southern. I also just think it makes sense. This team has 33 seniors. I don't know how many of them are going to play in Birmingham on whatever date they play Georgia Southern. I mean, I'm from Georgia. I don't even know if Georgia Southern is a top 4 college football team that I think of, to be honest, in the state. I feel like it goes Georgia, Georgia Tech, Georgia State, and then I guess maybe Georgia Southern. I don't know. But it's not the most prestigious bowl game. I get it, though. Lance has talked very heavily about how much bowl games matter to the program, and teams that go to bowls go to more bowls. And I understand why KU fans are disappointed. They have the right to be disappointed. But I think this is a cursed season, and Kansas fans should be grateful that they can turn the chapter a little bit. And plenty of moves are coming when the transfer portal opens up in about a month.
One of the things that I kind of imagined of me speculating here is the fact of this came down on Sunday. The way that college football works, I mean, they lost to Utah, and I imagine they probably had exit meetings on Monday and probably told guys, what are you going to do? Do you want to transfer? Turn in all your stuff. Like they didn't have a team. Like, they would have to call guys to say, come back, we have one more game to play. They aren't there anymore. Like, they've probably left. They're probably done with their classes and have gone home. Like, that's probably the biggest thing of all of this stuff.
No, I mean, 100%. I think a lot of them are probably scattered, right? But, I mean, honestly, I think it's a little bit of a disadvantage for Kansas not to go to this bowl game just because, you want to get practices in with a team that's going to be pretty young next year. You don't know who the quarterback's going to be next year. I mean, it'd be great if they could see a half of Isaiah Marshall and a half of Cole Ballard, or a half of David McComb and a half of Cole Ballard, or whatever the combination is. To me, I mean, you look at the list of teams, all those teams are a little more prestigious historically than Kansas.
Exactly.
So Kansas turning them down, I don't know. They've come a long way.
Exactly. That's what I thought too.
It just real quick, Shreyas, is we have just like a minute left. So they're not going to do it. They've got all this time to focus on bringing in coaches, on bringing in players. Is there momentum right now?
I think there's a lot of just, Lance is evaluating things. That's what he told us last. And I think that's kind of the premise. I won't be surprised, though, if Andy does come back, it happens this week or next week.
Okay. Shreyas Laddha, follow all the latest at the KC Star. Follow him on X at SHRE98. Appreciate it, Shreyas. Darren Peterson to the moon. Let's get him on the court.
Yes.
All right. There he goes.